The golem. It's a mystical being born out of Jewish folklore, and it's made from earth and clay. It's brought to life by a human trying to imitate God or the source. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's dive into some of the basics of what a golem is, their purpose, and the symbolism that will help you incorporate this creature into your next story. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a certified fiction book coach, and I help speculative fiction writers write stories that don't suck. So each month, I talk about a new creature in hopes to add dimension to your stories. So, what is a golem? Well, a golem is an artificial being, meaning it's created by human magic and is born to serve its master or its creator. They're usually shaped fairly similar to a human. Some say they are giants. Some say they are dumb or lacking intelligence and can only follow simple instructions. Some reference the first man, Adam, as a golem. So, what does that say about the first human's intelligence level? Don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit. So, the word itself, or the etymology, golem, traces back to ancient Hebrew, meaning raw material or unshaped matter. The term was first introduced in the Hebrew Bible, or specifically Psalms 139:16, that affirms that God's knowledge encompasses even the hidden, unformed body. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Something unfinished, but yet is encompassed by God's knowledge. So this dumb clay figure gets infused with God's knowledge. That might be interesting going back to Adam a little bit, but we'll hold off a little bit farther on that. So let's think about that for a minute. The ancient Hebrew Bible tells its followers that golems have no soul and they were unfinished, that they were practically incomplete when they were made. Now remember, I partially joked about Adam being the first golem made out of dust, earth, and clay, which insinuates that we humans have the power to complete that which is lacking, just like Adam. But we'll talk again a little bit more about that in symbolism. So, what's the golem's purpose? In order to answer this question, I need to take you through just a short little history of the Jewish people over the past 5,000 years. Just a little stroll. Now, sadly, this absolutely hurts my heart, but for whatever reason, and I don't understand, no matter how hard I research and everywhere I look, I do not understand why the Jewish people have been mistreated mercilessly for thousands of years. They were enslaved by the Egyptians. They were enslaved by the Babylonians. The Romans slaughtered the Jews in Jerusalem in 70 Common Era. The Middle Ages weren't any better or nicer for Jewish people because from the 11th to the 17th century, they were just massacred. They were blamed for causing the Black Plague. They were on the serious losing end of the Spanish Inquisition. That thing was ugly. In other parts of Europe and over time, they were overtaxed. They were prohibited from owning land. They were denied certain professions, and they were excluded from normal education systems. So needless to say, the Jews lived in a constant threat of violence for a really long time. So what did they do about it? Well, getting back to our golems, a rabbi named Judah Lo ben Bezalel, I think I'm saying that right, created a golem in the 16th century. Just like in the Hebrew Bible, it was made of clay and earth. And he made this creature to protect his communities from further attacks. Remember, it was a pretty ugly time. I mean, seriously, they were going through a lot. They needed help. And if folklore and mysticism was like their last resort and the only way they thought that they could save themselves and their community, why not? And who's to say it didn't work because Jewish people are still around? Now, what is the golem's symbolism? This is where you're going to take your story to kind of a different level by diving in deeper, and you can do a lot more work on your own with this. So you've gotten a little bit of a history lesson. We're going to take that knowledge and make it so it's alive in your story. We started out learning that golems are made by humans, right? That in turn means that humans are taking a divine style role or acting like gods. So what happens when humans think we're better than what we really are? Well, let's be honest. We usually wind up losing control, what we set out to accomplish. We screw up a bunch of stuff up, And it's really just part of our nature. I mean, let's be honest here. So, like, let's look at technology, for instance. What started out as pulling humanity out of a primitive existence to simply make life easier. We expanded our humanity. Now we've adapted radios, we have phones, we have automation lines, televisions. And now we've soon come to be overwhelmed with information that's being thrown at us from every black screen, every media outlet. We've created weapons and artificial intelligence. It's a birth of something quickly weaving out of control and making our own existence practically inhuman. Is that irony? Maybe in your story. Another symbol references back to Bezalel. He created a golem for protection, right? We talked about that. But what was the cost of that protection? Let's look at our own morality for a second. When we create something for our protection, we're metaphorically building a wall. Think about this. We build a wall around our hearts to protect us from the dangers of getting hurt. But in actuality, all we're doing is suffocating our authentic self and hiding behind something that's unnatural, like an artificial human. Well, let's keep on moving along. So now remember, in the old Hebrew text, golems were considered unformed, unfinished, soulless, and kind of dumb. So we're born this tiny little creature, right? We have no understanding of the world. We're just thrown into it. I mean, we need help doing everything. We need help eating, pooping, sleeping, whatever. Then we start to grow. Maybe so does our soul. Maybe all golems are a divine symbol that depicts a delicate balance between life and spirit. So now that you have a basic understanding of golems, how will you use this creature to liven up your story? If this creature information resonates with you and your writing, I offer a free Creature of the Month newsletter where I post possible themes and characters to help you build layers in your writing. The sign up is below, and of course, feel free, follow me for more creatures and writing tips by subscribing to this page. I appreciate you. Thank you.